And we are back, and we just finished watching 2021's 8-Bit Christmas, currently streaming on HBO Max, rated PG-13 with a runtime of 1 hour and 37 minutes. This film, directed by Michael Dowse, with writing credits to Kevin Jakubowski.
Sorry for butchering your name.
Sorry for butchering your name. And based on a book by Kevin.
No surname.
Yes. Jakubowski. Sorry. I don't know. I hope I'm saying that correctly. This was a treat. I really, really enjoyed this. I had no expectations.
I'd never even heard of this movie until we saw it on the
streaming services. We did a quick scan
yeah.
to see what we could watch, and it was good.
Yeah.
It was
really
way
good.
better than I thought it would be.
Big Christmas Story vibes coming from this thing.
Absolutely,
it's like
absolutely.
Christmas Story for the 80s.
It was like, what was I comparing it to? It was like Princess Bride.
Yeah, it had a Princess Bride
meets
a Christmas
story. Yeah, I think that's definitely falls in that.
Plus, a really positive Christmas message and a message about
enjoying Christmas,
not only enjoying Christmas but also
enjoying your family,
and not being a slave to
commercialism
and electronic devices
which definitely
is
pertinent to this day and age.
Yeah, we're steeped in that right now.
Right.
This was a sort of throwback to, hey, you know what, just
enjoy the simple thing.
Sometimes the grumpy old man who says, get out and get some fresh air has a point.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's kind of interesting because you and I grew up in the 80s and Nintendos were a big deal, as were Ataris and Commodores and whatever other gaming system came out during that time. But it's funny because I'm sure our parents and their parents were completely baffled by us and our likes of electronics and arcade games. And I feel like we could say the same thing about the next generation.
Uh-huh.
I know that you and I sometimes get a little miffed about.
Well, you know what? My dad liked computer games.
Did he?
He did. He would play games with us when we were a kid. He kind of left that because I was a terrible loser, and I would just lose my mind if I ever lost a game.
I used to be like that.
You used to be like that too, yeah. Grandpa was pretty into it for a while.
Until you ruined it.
Yeah, until I ruined it. But then again, we were playing Atari 2600, so Atari 2600 was terrible. We're looking in retro, when we were kids, we were like, "This is the best thing ever," and now you're just like,
"What the hell?
Were we thinking about?" Pac-Man, the terrible version of Pac-Man where it's just bonk, bonk, bonk.
Well, what about Pong, which was just
Pong?
Jeez.
Pales
in comparison to Ori.
Yeah. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie too. It was really good. Very sweet. It's tough making a good Christmas movie, I think.
This one did it in spades,
prior to this,
holy smokes.
Prior to this, I think the best one was Elf.
And that was
when did Elf come out?
2006, I want to say, maybe earlier, 2003.
It was a long time ago, but this is up there as far as really good Christmas movie.
Yeah, and it's not a complex story, but it flows really quickly and really nicely. And it's funny because we had to stop it at one point at the 33 mark, and we were like, it felt like it was longer than that, but there was a lot of story, but in a good way, yes. Yeah. But there was a lot of story happening.
Yeah, they crammed a lot of story in there. Little side adventures and stuff. It wasn't there was the whole theme about this kid really wanting a Nintendo. But there was all the little submissions and stuff in order to get the Nintendo, the failures and the introduction of how they became in love with Nintendo, that douchey kid. They mentioned the Power Glove,
which I don't remember at all.
Nintendo Power Glove, yeah.
I can't believe you remember that.
Seriously good use of throw, and very accurate, because the Power Glove was the coolest thing ever, but it was a piece of junk. It didn't even really work.
So I'm going to go around the table and get impressions. Gigi, what did you think of this movie?
It was fun.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite character?
The kid.
Jake.
That was his name.
The main kid. Yeah, Jake.
Did you like Jake, little Jake, or big Jake?
A little. Kind of took over most of the movie.
True. What about you, Olive? Did you have a favorite character?
Did you like the movie?
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite character?
The kid who was playing King of the Hill.
Oh, the bully. Was his last name the name of the writer of the movie? He had like Jablonski or something, or Jagorsky.
Or was it Gorlick or something?
No.
I don't know.
It began with J.
It was it was like Jagorky or Jagorsky or something.
Yeah, it sounded like that.
And he was spot on, perfect for the time.
Oh my gosh!
Big metalhead kid with
Doofy,
like the sleeveless denim jacket,
who looked like he'd been left back at least 5 grades.
He was like 2 feet taller than everybody else in the class. And they were playing King of the Hill, which was something that you played when it snowed, and there was a big mountain of snow, which wouldn't go over now.
Not spelled exactly. Jagorsky. Josh Jagorsky. Did you have a favorite scene in the movie, Olive G?
Well, I had 2 favorite scenes.
Yeah, tell me about them.
What were your 2 favorites?
One of my favorite scenes was when the bully was going to beat the crap out of Jake.
For wearing girl boots?
Uh-huh. and he said, older Jake said, I heard an angel's voice. And then the other scene was when the bully was threatening some guy that he didn't take no for an answer for like the Reeves.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And at the end when like the reveal happened, didn't he punch that old man in the stomach?
It wasn't an old man. I think it was like a young guy that was also part of the Scouts or something.
He was old.
He was old? Really? Terrible.
They were so enraged. It's like, no, it's like more school.
NPH was brilliant in this. Yeah. So good.
Neil Patrick Harris is a very good narrator for this.
Oh, my gosh.
Like I said, it's got a very Christmas Story vibe with a narrator talking about their childhood, just like in A Christmas Story. And Neil Patrick Harris is just perfect. He's relaying the story to his daughter, which also that's where the Princess Bride vibe sort of comes in with the grandfather and the grandson.
Son telling the story, yeah.
And the kid not being into it at all. And then by the end, the story is just so gripping and fascinating that the little girl is just like, what happened
next? What about you, Gigi? Did you have a favorite scene?
Jared Kids was being rude to his grandma while she was in a hospital bed.
Yeah. Idiot grandma.
Or did he say stupid grandma? I don't even remember.
I think he called her an idiot. He just like smacked away the Connect 4.
No, he said, eat it, grandma.
I don't think he said eat it.
Oh, no, I don't think he said eat it. I think he called her an idiot because she beat him or something. And I knew a kid just like that. Like
Neil.
No, it wasn't Neil. Neil wasn't violent when he'd lose. There was this kid, I think his name was Michael or something. And I remember going to his house and he was playing some video game and he just lost his mind. He was like chasing his dog around, threatening to beat it up. He was nuts.
Little kids are weird.
Yeah.
This is like that's not a good age. What was that? They were like fifth grade maybe?
Maybe, yeah. Like maybe just before teenage hormones took over.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't any sort of like romantic relation. It was clearly everybody
all platonic. Yeah.
Everybody was just all about getting a Nintendo.
Yes. Although didn't Keen have a thing for one of the twins?
Oh yeah. He wrote that poem.
Or no, he had the recording.
He pressed the recording. You didn't hear that.
The Dream Journal, yes.
The Dream Journal.
This was a gosh darn delight from start to finish. But one of the scenes that I found most compelling was the retainer scene. Oh. When he's going back to get the retainer. because his parents had basically said, if you don't have it, don't come home.
Don't come home.
Oh my gosh. I feel like that's something you've heard before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, everything was like hyper expensive when you were a kid. You know,
and your parents let you know about it.
Like,
yeah.
But yeah, that was a good, and that was like it reminded me a lot of A Christmas Story with like the little asides. You know, different little sub adventures would happen during the story. Like the retainer scene didn't need to really happen, but it was. It was
gosh darn good.
It was perfect.
Yeah. And I think it illustrated the whole, like, the family dynamic, the relationship between Jake and his dad, and just added to it. It was just hilarious. Mm-hmm. And I think for people in our age group that grew up in the 80s, we completely got, like, all the references. And it's funny because I think even though we grew up in that time, I think our kids really enjoyed it. And even though they're more tech savvy and they're bored more quickly than we were, and need more stimulation than we did, I think that they also got it because they all laughed too during that retainer scene. I think we were all grossed out, right? Because that kid put that thing in his mouth.
I wasn't grossed out. I just thought it was funny. Olivia didn't laugh. She was just screaming really loudly.
Yeah. I was completely skeeved.
Yeah.
Little kids are gross.
Yeah, well,
little kids are gross.
You looked at that thing, and like it wasn't even just like people kicked it around. That mop. It was like, you can't get worse than that.
You know what's so funny? I saw that and I was like, there's no way he's gonna put it in his mouth. There's no way.
I knew it when his dad was telling him to open his mouth, and then he ran away. I knew that he put it in his mouth.
Terrible. Oh my god. Oh my gosh, yeah. Really, really well done. I really enjoyed this. And it was lovely. And I won't give it away because it's kind of a new release. And I feel like people really should go into this blindly because there's a bittersweetness to the ending. And it just really all fits. And I think that this is such a love. I mean, I agree with you. I think maybe the last great original Christmas movie was Elf, but I think that this is not as good as Elf, but up there.
Yeah.
It's up there. It's
like Elf was very original. This is clearly like they know that they are mimicking A Christmas Story.
Yeah, but it's still really good.
It's still excellent. They're basically just using that mechanism of telling the story.
Yeah.
Nobody's really got the monopoly on it, but
and it's not something that you see all the time. So it's not like it's not like it's overdone. It's not like you're sitting there like, oh my god, I can't believe they did this.
Yeah, like you don't feel like it's a ripoff.
Right.
It's good.
Agreed.
It's just flat out good, and it's good writing.
Very good writing.
Good acting. Everybody's performance was good. The little boy
Winslow Fegley, who we saw in Night Books,
really good. He was really good. Just everybody. Steve Zahn
was the GOAT. Yeah.
Even David Cross has like a nice little cameo in there.
And his little scene with Jake at the bus stop or whatever,
outside the mall.
The mall was really. I think that's not pivotal. Well, maybe because I think he's trying to impart wisdom on this young man because he's been a young man and he knows. We tell our kids all the time, listen, you're not going to feel anything or do anything that we haven't already done, right?
Yeah.
So I think David Cross's character trying to impart some wisdom.
Which I think it doesn't click with him initially.
Right.
But then by the end of the movie,
it all makes sense.
It all makes sense.
Yeah, because even though...
And the wisdom of the dad, too. Right. Everything gets wrapped up so nicely
in this. Yes, agreed.
And also Neil Patrick Harris and his daughter. Yes, it all works. It completely works.
So, question for you: did Neil Patrick Harris marry the girl who had the same boots as him?
Yeah.
I thought so, but I was just like, is that I mean, I thought she was older, but I guess not if they're on the
They're
same
all on
field
the same
trip.
bus.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the only one that was older was Jagorsky because he left back like 80 times.
At least.
Seriously, he was like 2 feet taller than everybody else.
He really was. He had to have been at least 10 years older than everybody else in that class.
Yeah.
But, okay, so there is no critique here. This is a fantastic feel-good holiday movie.
Yeah, I would say
original content.
The only flaw in this movie is it's not being promoted as well as it should
be. It should be. No, yeah. I haven't seen anything. I mean, we just saw it because
I've never heard of this movie, and like the first time I've seen it shown on HBO Max that it like got like it was on like the title bar, and I was like, oh look a Christmas movie.
Yeah,
because we were looking for Christmas movies, and
yeah.
there was one, and we were just like, all right, let's check this out. We gave it a shot, and I'm super happy we did.
We did, yeah, me too. Yeah, seriously, America, I'm looking at the Netflix top 10, and what the hell? Go get yourself over to HBO Max and go see 8-Bit Christmas instead.
I know.
Yeah, this was really, really good. I mean, like fun, like Free Guy fun.
Yeah.
And sweet and just heartwarming. And I don't want to give too much away, but I cried and it was great. I loved it. Olive, 1 to 10. Gigi.
Wow.
The kids liked it a lot more than they sound. God. Come on.
It's late.
Still some enthusiasm.
It's late.
Jeez,
you know what? Let's wrap it up so you can...
There's nothing wrong with...
You can Animal Cross for half an hour before bed. What about you, Gigi?
Also 8.
What'd you give it?
Yeah, I'd give it an 8 too.
I'm going to break away from the pack. I'm going to give this an 8.5.
You know what? I'll up it too because it was
really, really good. And I think this is the kind of movie that you can...
It made me feel good.
Yes,
it made me... Especially about Christmas, you know?
It made me feel good. It's lovely, lovely. From where it starts to where it ends, it's quite the journey. The messages in here are really great. Everyone did really, really well. But kudos to... just kudos to everyone, but a special shout out to Winslow and Neil, who really were the heart of this film, and Steve Zahn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just did not expect to like this as much as I did. And again, I will out myself and say I did cry. Yeah. So you can take that for what it's worth, but don't let that deter you. Definitely check this out.
Yeah, it's a
really
great
good
Christmas. It was a nice Christmas surprise. A good Christmas movie.
Yeah, great Christmas movie, but not just a Christmas movie, but like a family movie and just a feel-good movie and just something that you can watch. And I don't think you even need to celebrate Christmas to enjoy it. I think if you have family.
Well, I mean that was like the thing. The message was enjoy being with your family. That's like the real important thing.
Right. That's
and
the
whether
whole
you're
meaning of Christmas.
whether you're saying Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, or what have you, it's just that. It's just a time to be thankful, be grateful, be happy.
Enjoy the time.
The time.
Live in the moment.
And you've, like David Cross said, you've only got a certain amount of Christmases in you, so you should enjoy them.
Right. And for the kids, like, this is your 10th spin around the universe, and this is the only 10th birthday or 10th Christmas that you'll have. This is the only 13th Christmas that you'll ever have. So make it special. Make it fun. Enjoy it. You have your whole life to be a miserable worker.
Yeah, you're not working yet. So.
Yeah, you're not working. So enjoy your youth. Don't rush it. And it was really, really lovely. I really didn't expect... The ending really took me by surprise. I was really... But in a good way. So, okay. I'm getting the signal. Everyone's done with me. That is it from us. If you haven't checked it out and looking for original holiday content, there's not cursing in this, right? I don't think so.
None at all. I think this is rated PG.
PG, yes, you're right. And absolutely, you can enjoy this with really, really tiny kids or the grandparents. I think this is a really great family movie. If you haven't seen it, go check out HBO Max's original 8-Bit Christmas. And that's it from us, and we will bid you all a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.